Alright guys, we are live. Make sure your cameras are on. Check in, please. Alright, there's only 4 people checked in. Come on, guys. Cameras on, please. O que você falou? Oh, yeah. And, I mean, if he does hardwood flooring, there's, like I said, there's always somebody that needs the work. So, but I can only help. I can only help if people ask for help. Otherwise, can't do it. All right, we got 6 people checked in. One day, that's my dream. That everybody will check in on time.
Is that why you timed the section to check in?
Why I time it? No, I give 30 minutes, then it ends by itself. And people on YouTube are just waiting for us to start. You just go on YouTube and search for New Direction School. Boom. You'll pop. You'll say that's live. Or you can do like Lila and just say, "Hey, is this live?" Like, yeah, it is. You can always ask.
Is one day the Zoom stops working.
Yeah.
You gotta be prepared.
You never know. All right, who we're missing? Monifa not checked in. Camera on, please. Philip. Jose A. Waterfront in Perth Amboy is a nice area to live at. I lived there a few years back. I'm pretty sure.
It's peaceful.
Yeah.
It's peaceful
For business, you want to be right by that train station. The main street by the train station. That's the best area to be in Perth Amboy. Bailbon, that's what you know in Perth Amboy? I don't even want to know. Mr. Buyer, would you like to buy right next to the police department and the bail bonds? Just in case.
You're always gonna be safe?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, sometimes, yeah, police station is safe. And it's okay.
Listen, a few years ago, 2nd Precinct here in Newark, there was a car being stolen right in front of the police station.
Oh, you went from Amboy to North?
Perth Amboy.
Yeah, Perth Amboy. I call it Amboy.
There's Perth Amboy, there's South Amboy. It's different.
Amboy is a lot more safe than that.
Well, Newark is safe too. I'm not just saying. I just gave the example of what I know, and I've seen in front of the police station a car being stolen.
For example, when you call
That's all.
I called North Police Station many times for weeks. That was going on right next to my mom's house back then. They never showed up. It was Perth Amboy. Literally 15 minutes they showed up.
Gotcha.
That's fine.
All you gotta say is that there's a gun. That's it.
I didn't say
All right.
a scene of murder, dude.
Jose said, "Not really." Oh, not really to what? For business? What I was saying before for business? I'm sorry. No, something else. I'm sorry. I was checking the check-ins. Rob, I'm going to charge you extra for that. Guys, make sure your cameras are on, please, and pointing at you. Thank you very much. Oh, the safety. Jose says, not really the safety thing that you were saying.
Oh, Perth Amboy?
Yeah, Perth Amboy. There's South Amboy, there's Perth Amboy. Philip, I had to restart my computer. I was typing all crazy stuff. My keyboard's gone wild. 'Tis the season for keyboards gone wild. It's all the pollen out there, you know, allergy season. So keyboards need some pills too. All right, let's see what we got.
Some pills. That's the dust.
Another one bites the dust. YouTube, we got serious questions. Let's see. I'll get back on the Honey app in the meantime. Okay. Serious question. No eating in class. Jose E. I never said no eating in class. Usually what I tell people that are in class, like at home you can do whatever you want. What I tell people are in class is not to bring anything that's crunchy. Either crunchy or that has a active smell. Because then if you bring for yourself, you have to bring for everybody because we're going to be hungry. That's all I'm saying. All right? So usually when I say that, food shows up, everybody eats, and the people at home are like, you know, their mouth gets watery, like, sounds like it's delicious food.
I remember the cochinas I brought.
The cochinas, there you go. Everybody was distracted. They just wanted to go back there and get cochinas. All right, Lila, do you teach classes for commercial real estate? So I do have a property management class, which involves partially commercial real estate. It's not available at this moment, right? Not right now, because I am going for a surgery, another surgery. So until I figure out other instructors to be here, I cannot, and the outcome of the surgery, I cannot program certain classes. So there's no commercial real estate license. It could be a commercial real estate course on how to find commercial real estate, list, rent, whatever it is that you're looking for. But mainly those are geared towards property management and understanding the trade-off of being the seller or being a landlord and hiring by yourself or hiring somebody. Okay. Jose E, steering. I was not steering in any way, shape, or form. And okay, I will bring ice cream. Now that works. That works. Ice cream always works. All right. Back to this. Just so you guys know, here in general brokerage practices, we are going to go over a few things in detail. Other things I'm going to skip altogether only because we have other chapters that are more specific for certain topics. Okay? So, general brokerage practices. My first question is, what is a brokerage? What does it mean to broker? What does it mean to broker? You never got to that chapter? It's a great answer. Don't ask me. Skip me. I never got to that chapter. You don't have. They never got to that chapter. You're here now. To make a deal, to facilitate a transaction. That's what brokering is. Brokering is simply, you have a product, I have a buyer for that product, let's meet. Brokering. Yeah. No, it's bringing a business together. Lila wrote, be an agent for sellers and buyers. There you go. The act of putting together a deal. Sellers, buyers, landlords, tenants. Brokering is simply, like Philip was saying before, being the middleman or woman. Somebody has a product, somebody wants to buy a product, and you're the person facilitating that transaction. Simple. So what are the general brokerage practices? Let's start with function and why can't someone just sell their own house? They can. So hold on, let's rewind a little bit. Lila, did you just pass this course? And you're already saying like, I don't want your business. Sell your own house. People can sorry. People can sell their own house. It's called for sale by owner or unrepresented selling. I can sell my own phone, but if I don't understand the process of a phone market, for instance, or computer market or car market or house market, if I don't understand it, right? If not well versed in it, then am I going to sell for its optimal price? I don't know if you guys ever tried to trade in a car or trade in electronics. If you ever tried, you know that they don't give you what it's worth, right? Once you try to trade in to replace for another, your car is now worth like $2,000 or $3,000 less than if you sold private or a phone as well, right? I wanted to upgrade my phone, right? And I went to check the trade-in value for the phone. They were gonna give me $200 and some. I'm like, no, I can sell this still for $500. What do you mean $230? Said no, I'm keeping my phone, right? I either keep it with me for emergency purposes, or I can, just sell it to a private entity. That's it. But I'm not trading in, right? So can people do it on their own? They can. Lila says, I would just watch your videos and then sell my own house. That's great, but a lot of the stuff that I go over has no value if you don't have a platform to advertise in, right? So we go back to the MLS, for instance. Can you sell your own house without putting on the MLS? Yes, you can. You can go on Zillow. They have a for sale by owner option. You can go to forsalebywowner.com. You can go to fsbo.com. There's so many outlets out there, right? But do you know how to market it? That's the question. You're going to spend money in marketing. You can put on marketplace. You can do. You can learn on YouTube. Yes, you can learn how to create audiences on Facebook, Instagram, and whatever, and market to those particular audiences on your own. You can, absolutely. The question now is how to do everything else. Because what I teach in pre-licensing, what I teach, and that's what you see on the videos on YouTube, not other stuff that we teach, right? What you see on the videos on YouTube, what I teach is the theory, right? It's not practice. And if you guys, I mean, again, if you've been to school before, I'm sure I've asked this, if you've been to pre-K, right? Elementary, middle school, and so on, right? If you've been there, you know that you learn a lot of theory that you might never put in practice in your whole lifetime, right? So one thing is teaching pre-licensing, another thing is teaching agents how to do stuff, right? So Lila, what you're telling me about YouTube and do it yourself, it's the same thing as looking at HGTV, like Flip This House type of thing, or A&E, Flip This House, whatever, right? And they'll show you how to buy an abandoned house or destroyed house, and in 2 weeks it's a brand new castle, right? And they tell you it only costs $100 to build. But then you come here to Jersey, for instance, and whatever costs $100 to build out in Canada or some areas of Canada, which some of the videos you see there are from Canada, some from Texas and Tennessee or whatever, the markets are different. So we go back to the same thing. Those are theory. Even though they're showing you something just like I'm doing, it's not enough. So make sure you guys give yourself some value and be like, hey, no, you cannot sell by yourself. You need me because I'm the expert in the local market. Period. Okay, Lila? Just got licensed in telling people to go YouTube and do it yourself. How are you going to get commission out of do yourselves? She's like, touche. Yeah. I don't think touche is spelled that way. Because that would be tush. If you know what I mean. Hey. Jessica Bell, I passed my test. Oh, we're on a roll today. Third person today. Congratulations, Jessica. Awesome. All right. Good luck out there in this business. It's not that hard. It's not that easy either, but it's not that hard. And if you need anything, let me know. Jose E. For sale by owners may not know how to protect themselves. There you go. May not have the knowledge how to do it, no experience. There you go. Like going to the dentist who is still in school, only has experience in video, no hands-on. Hey, Jose E. It's like not going to the dentist and pulling your own tooth. It can happen. You could be successful. 90% of the times, you're going to damage something. All right. Back to this. Nope. Function and organization. We're going to talk about brokerage. The core activity of brokerage. The core activity of a brokerage is effecting a transaction. Like I said, you're going to procure a buyer, seller, tenant, or property on behalf of a client for the purpose of completing a transaction. That's brokering. If successful, the broker receives a commission according to the provisions of the listing agreement. A broker's compensation for effecting a transaction is usually negotiated as a percentage of the purchase price. We already covered that. And we talked about brokerage cooperation as well. In most cases, transactions require the assistance of a cooperating broker from another brokerage company acting as a subagent. I talked about Marlon being with Remax and Jose A being with Century 21 as an example. So if Jose brings a buyer for Marlon's listing, then that's a co-brokerage because it's between two different brokerages, right? Co-brokerage. All right. We talked about MLS already, so we're going to skip that. Now, on the next page, we got critical on page 171. Critical brokerage skills. Critical brokerage skills. Jose A. You wrote 171. That's what I said. Right? Is that it? All right. Sorry, I'm worried for Lila right now. Lila, if you need any help in this coming business on how not to lose the listing to for sale by owners, my number is 908-418-8325. Let's get that listing together. This sounds like one of those commercials, right? Let's get the listing together and be successful. Okay? Don't lose the listing. She's gonna be like, sir, but you can sell it on by yourself. You don't need me. Just watch Bruno's videos. All right. Critical brokerage skills. Critical. That means it's very important. That means it's very, very important. You need to be proficient, Lila, in 4 skill areas. The first one is obtaining a client listing, not giving it to them. Okay? First. Second one is how to market the listing, not telling them how to do it. Third one is facilitating the closing of a transaction, so all the steps. And finally, managing market information. Lila, I'm just asking general questions. I know, I'm just messing with you. But this is important, guys. This is important you guys develop these skills. Now, for state exam, will they ask you What are the 4 core skills that you need to learn when listing, or with properties and all that stuff? Probably not, right? Probably not. But it is your responsibility to develop these skills, to be the best at what you do, right? Because if you want to be average, right, you can still make money, but being the best at what you do is what will make you stand out of the crowd and be the go-to person, all right? So obtain a client listing, learn how to get that, marketing the listing, because we're going to market it together, by the way. We're going to market the property together. It takes 2 of us. It's me and you, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, or actually the 3 of us if it's me and the couple, right? So you have to do your part. I have to do my part, right? How are we going to market? Facilitating the closing transaction. These are the steps. We need to have title cleared. We need to have a CO. The buyer needs to deal with the mortgage, needs to deal with inspections and so on. So we're going to explain the whole process beginning to end, right? And managing market information is very important, because what is a market, right? Market is where a product is sold or traded, right? Now, can I say, I don't know where you guys live, but can I say that my market is different than your market? Can I safely say that? I can almost guarantee it, because my market is Newark, New Jersey, right? Your market might be Linden. You know what? Let's go next door. It might be Harrison, might be Belleville, might be Irvington, or even Elizabeth, right around Newark, right? Is it the same market? No. In fact, if my market is the or southward or north, it's different neighborhoods altogether. So different markets right there just in one town. You need to be aware of these things. When you tell somebody your property is worth $1 million, right? They tell you, oh, it's in Newark and it's a 3-family. Oh, it's worth $1 million. Boom, right there. No. If it's in the Ironbound, you might see some properties selling for $1 million already, 3 families, yes. But if you are in South Newark, maybe 500-600 at best, right? If it's North Newark, maybe pushing the 600s, high 6 already, some certain areas, right? So different markets within one town. Imagine the whole state, right? Imagine different states, right? Mr. Bean goes to the dentist. We're back at the dentist. Jessica Bell, thanks for your videos. Helped me a lot. I appreciate your dedication. Thanks, Jessica. Yeah. Well, she's the one that said before she passed. She's just making a comment. Lila, door knocking and cold calling. Yep, still going on. Still very effective. One of my agents at the realty side, one of my agents actually is, his main market is door knocking. That's his main market. He gets listings like nobody here. It's crazy. Every week he shows up, oh, I got another listing. Oh, I got another listing. How'd you do it? Well, I knocked on this door, knocked on that door, and then they said the neighbor wanted to sell. Stuff like that. It's just crazy. Door knocking, yep. See, the whole preaching and door knocking for real estate is totally different.
I know, but I'm saying you go in person.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you show up with a book trying to convert somebody is different than trying to sell.
No, sell is more hard.
No.
Learning to.
Be like,
But it's like we go knock, like those people.
ready to accept Jesus as your Savior?
Not Jesus, God. Jesus the Son.
Well, He is the light. So anyway. The bottom line is it's different. It's different. In fact, it's still a sale. Like if you're going door to door for religious purposes, it's still a sale. You're trying to conclude a sale. And I was going to say that because I do life insurance and health insurance for like Medicare and all this stuff, right? And even though I'm licensed in a bunch of different fields, each one presents its own difficulties. Like try to talk to people about life insurance. It's something they need more than buying a house. Something they need, because there's one thing that's guaranteed that's going to happen, right? Huh? Yeah, most people don't. Yeah, It's a very difficult sale on something they need, right? That's why I think it's more important to do education presentation rather than a sale, right? So educate first, sell second. It's very, very important in any type of business. If you provide education, people will come to you. If you're always trying to sell something, people stay away from you, right? So you have to change. I'm not going to teach you this because this will be wherever you guys go. There's different trainings and all that stuff. But I still believe that educating somebody, giving them information, telling a story, it's way better than trying to shove stuff down people's throats. You okay? Just saying. Like, knock on your door and say, hey, you need to sell now. No. Did you know that this is happening here? Like, it's different. Jose, hey, a friend told me that he made a record on sale door knocking when he started. Okay, when he started on real estate. Look, it's still very, very effective. Very, very effective. It's one of the ways to get listings. And right now, what we need is listings in this area, at least. Jose E, rather deal with the person face to face instead of voice on the phone. Everybody's different. I have some people that are really good at cold calling. Some people have great success with their online marketing or paper marketing, like letters and stuff. Everybody's different. I have people that go to events. Some people are great at door knocking. Others are just, hey, I got to go to an event and broadcast the information, right? They try to capitalize on a lot of people being together and market that information. So you guys are going to have to find your way. Moving forward, because I have to continue, but when it comes to this, you need to develop these skills, but you need to find what works for you, all right? What works for you? Like I said, I have somebody that went to a wedding, and while at the wedding, she danced with everybody, right? And while dancing, conversation comes up. What do you do? Oh, great. And then the other person, what do you do? Well, I'm in real estate. Boom. And strikes conversation. Done. Potential leads. All you got to do is dance. Like, to everybody's different, right? Right, but you do. This is key. This is key, regardless of how you do it. This is key.
I will negotiate my boss. Save him an extra.
There you go. $60 right there.
Yeah.
Doing Uber, they asked me if Uber was the only thing I did. There you go. Just a quick thing on the Uber. I'm not sure if you can market other stuff. I think at one point they said you couldn't. So be careful when you're doing Uber, Lyft, or anything like that. What I did in the past was give my business cards to Uber drivers. And if they got their license, they would get referral fees. Just saying. So my business cards were there. It was not theirs. Anyway. Or, actually, at one point I was giving water bottles. You know how sometimes Uber drivers and Lyft drivers have water bottles, candies, or whatever for passengers, right? So I would buy water bottles with custom labels, advertising and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Gotta get creative. All right, moving on. A client hires a broker by executing a listing agreement. Once hired, the broker or agent implements a marketing plan to procure the other principal party for the transaction. The broker then plays an important role in pre-closing activities to ensure successful closing of the transaction. To serve clients and locate customers, a broker must become expert in the local real estate market conditions. This is what I was telling you. Even from neighborhood to neighborhood, things change, so you got to be ready for that. And the fundamental part of maintaining market expertise is organizing and maintaining an information system. Types of transactions and properties brokered. We talked about this before as well. You're licensed to deal with all real estate properties, but you need to focus on something. You can do residential, you can do commercial, you can do industrial, you can do the whole New Jersey or the whole New York or the whole whatever your licensed state is. But you should specialize in a a particular type of property, a particular type of transaction, or within a geographical area. For me, all three. My market is Newark. I like residential properties, 1 to 4 families only, right? If it goes above that as a representative, like if I'm representing him, right? If it goes above that, then I'll bring somebody else to work with it. If it's outside of Newark, then I'll bring somebody else to work with you, right? I can do whatever I want. I just choose not to. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not being too much work. I don't want to be known for the master or jack of all trades, right? I want to be known as the residential specialist in Newark. Got it? You need a property in Newark? Come to me. That's what I want to be known for. As an investor, that's where I focus my efforts as well. That's what I want to be known for, right? Can I do the whole New Jersey? Sure, I can. My license is a New Jersey real estate license. I can do New Jersey. I can do commercial. I can do industrial. I can do whatever I want. Do I want to? The answer is no. The same way with health insurance. I'm licensed to sell health insurance. Do I do regular health? No. I do Medicare and group health only, right? Because that's what I chose to focus on. That's my focus business. You understand? I teach real estate. Okay, I teach insurance. But right now, I'm focused only on salesperson courses. Could I be doing a broker's course? I could. Could I be doing a mortgage course? I could. Could I be doing insurance, property, and casualty right now? I could. I choose not to. Do you see what I'm saying? Guys, focus on something. Part of my training for the CE credits, which is continuous education, for some of our agents and other companies' agents, part of my training was actually telling people that the shortest path to success is to focus on one thing at a time. Can you do multiple things? Yes, but be the best at one, and then you can add on stuff. Okay? There's only 24 hours in a day, and if you don't learn how to delegate certain things, you will sink very quickly. That I can guarantee you. In this business, you will sink very quickly trying to do everything. Next, we got brokerage versus trading. What's the difference between brokerage and trading? As a broker, we're helping somebody else. Trading, we are investors. I'm buying a property, fixing, selling it for the purpose of getting some type of return. So that's the biggest difference. What is the difference between brokerage and advisory services? Brokerage, I'm representing you. Where advisory services, I don't represent you. You ask me a question and I presented you with the answer. For instance, advisory services would be providing an estimated value, performing a market analysis, or managing a property. Does this mean that I represent you? No. You just asked me information, I gave you a report. That's all. Hey, Bruno, what do you think my property is worth? I'm going to do one of those on Friday. What do you think my property is worth? Hopefully, it will convert into a listing. That's what I'm looking for, right? But what do you think my property is worth? And I can easily charge for performing the market analysis or property estimate of value. I can charge $50, $100, $500, whatever I feel like. I can. Don't have to, because my ultimate goal, obviously, is converting this into a listing, right? If it becomes a listing, then I'm engaging in brokerage activities. So advisory service is that one shot. I'm not representing you in any transaction. Brokerage, we're part of a transaction. Okay? These are the different transaction types that we can get involved in. I already told you that before. Sales, rentals, assignments, exchanges, subleases, or options. Property type could be residential, could be commercial. Within residential, you have different property types. Remember I told you that I only deal with residential 1 to 4 family? All right. Let's exclude condos, co-ops, mobile homes. I don't do those. Some people here at my office have done it. When I said I don't, good for them. I don't do it. Can I do it? Yes. The answer will always be yes. If I choose to do it, no. All right? Can you do it? Sure you can. You could be the pro at condos, but make sure you understand the ins and outs of it before you do it. Right? There's nothing wrong with dealing with condos. Make sure you are the best at it. Can you deal with co-ops? Absolutely. Again, just make sure you're the best at it. And if you deal with mobile homes, just remember you're dealing with motor vehicles as well. So, you see what I'm saying? Become the expert at something. Commercial could be retail, office, industrial. Land, undeveloped, developed, agricultural, special purpose, government, religious, recreational, and so on. You can deal with businesses. We're going to talk about that later. Or even real estate securities. We'll talk about this in another chapter. Okay? Now, who may legally broker real estate? Who can broker real estate? Let me know. Real quick. Who can broker real estate? The answer is simple. Say louder. An Asian? Agent? I was about to say. Could be European, could be African, could be American. Why had to be Asian? Philip says a broker. Who can legally broker real estate? A broker. Yes. A broker can deal with real estate. They can broker. No. Who can broker real estate? So who can be part of a brokerage? Okay. Who can broker real estate? A broker. That's the easiest answer. Right? But is it any broker? Louder, Elsie. A licensed broker. So all 50 states and Canada impose legal licensing requirements on any person or business entity desiring to broker real estate. Now, to obtain a broker's license, you must complete a required education. We'll talk about it when we get to the state side of it. Meet requirements, experience requirements as a salesperson, and pass a state examination. You might even have to be of certain age, provide a criminal record, and a professional background before you can actually become a broker. Practicing without a real estate brokerage without a valid license is illegal. You guys already know this. And anyone who plans to obtain a real estate license should become familiar with the real estate license law of the relevant state. Again, when we get to the state portion, we'll address it. All right. There's different types of business entities. I'm going to go briefly through this because it's not asked in the state exam. But you can open a brokerage as a sole proprietor. That means me, myself, and I registered as an individual. I don't recommend this to anybody because as a sole proprietor, you are fully at risk. Okay? Liability is an issue. You could be a corporation for profit. A nonprofit cannot be a brokerage, but a for-profit could be a brokerage. Okay? We'll talk about this better in investments, what a corporation is. Non-for-profit may not broker real estate. If you're a not-for-profit, you cannot broker real estate because obviously real estate brokering, right, is a for-profit practice. So, cannot be not-for-profit. It could be a general partnership. The problem with general partnerships is liability. We'll talk about it better in investments. But if it's a general partnership, all partners bear the full liability for debts and obligations, jointly and severally. Do you know what this means? That's it. We all together, we all go. And if only one of us has the money to pay for the lawsuit, that person is responsible to pay for everybody. Oh yeah. We get sued for $1 million and only one of us has the majority of the money, that person still has to pay. Oh, but I don't have the money. But you got your house. Sell your house. You got those paintings. You got that car. Right? True stories. I saw somebody lose their business. They got sued. They had to sell house, paintings, car, everything to satisfy the lawsuit. Okay? So, that's the problem with partnerships. I don't like partnerships. Okay? Limited partnerships. In limited partnerships, pretty much I'm saying that there's at least one general partner to handle the business, and then there's limited partners, right, that make the investments. We call these, most people call these silent partners. Have you heard this before? Oh, I'm going to open up a business. I need some silent partners. What do you think? You want to help me out? Marlon, would you like to contribute? You'll be a silent partner. I'll run the whole show, right? Nobody knows it's you, right? What is a silent partner? It's not that Marlon is hiding. It's just that Marlon has no voice or has no say in the activity of the business. You understand? So the general partner is the one that runs the show. The limited partner puts up money and expects returns. Okay? That's why they're called silent. They have no voice or say in the activities of the business. Now, the advantage of this is that their liability, right? Their liability is limited to the money they put in. Like an angel investor, it could be. So Marlon put in $10,000 towards this business venture. We get sued for $1 million. Marlon, how much can you lose? 10,000. Very good. How much can I lose? Everything else, because I'm the general partner. So if I grabbed every single one of you and I said, guys, I have a business proposal. I got this great deal coming up. I need 10,000 from each one of you, right? But you'll be silent partners. I'll buy the property, I'll fix the property, I'll sell the property, and I'll give you a return on your money. Right? I am the general partner. You guys are limited. If the deal goes sour, or if I never put insurance because I forgot about it, somebody slips and falls and sues the house, right? What do you have to lose? Every single one of you can lose what you invested only. That's the advantage of being a limited partner. You want to take on liability because hey, no, I gotta be part of the business, right? I gotta be part of the business. I'm gonna be your partner. I'm gonna do it with you, right? Then we share liability, full liability. No, limited partner. Let's say your profit is 5% of the business. You get 5% of the business. It's just that on the loss, you're capped at whatever you invested. Jose says, I need a minute. Is it for me to wait or is it for you to go? He's gone. No, he stepped away. That's all you were saying. All right, we have business trust. We'll talk about it in investments. Like I said, some stuff here we're going to go in detail in a different chapter. Now, different types of brokerage organizations. This is mainly for you to have an idea. You can be a boutique or independent brokerage, or you could be a franchise, right? So my agency, for instance, we are not a franchise. But if you're part of a Remax, it's a franchise. If you're part of a Century 21, it's a franchise, and so on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That the type of partnership is what you guys agree to. So who's running the business? Is it the person? Okay, so if the person investing is not doing anything in the business, they're silent partners. But again, you have to, on the paperwork, you have to clearly state it, that that's what you are. Because then I don't want you showing up at the salon, like you were saying. Show up at the salon and be like, hey, today we're going to change all the prices. I'm like, wait, who are you? Right? You're supposed to be the silent one. Like, what are you doing here? Got it? So whatever, it's called operating agreements. Every single LLC or corporation has to have some type of, or partnership has to have some type of operating agreement that says who are the principal parties to this business and what are their roles. Like what's their contribution, what is their return in every single business. Okay? That is key. All right, so now that Jose A is back, we can continue. We talked about brokerage or independent, being independent or affiliated, right? If it's affiliated, it's a franchise. If it's independent, then I'm not affiliated with anybody. I'm completely independent. I make my own decisions. The thing about a franchise is that usually you can expect the use of a recognized trade name, right? Anywhere you go in the world, you see Remax, you see Keller Williams, even Century 21, even Weichert in some countries now, right? National and regional advertising, training programs, standardized operating procedures or SOPs, right? And a national referral system. These are all the advantages of being part of a franchise, right? And I'm not here today to talk about advantages or disadvantages of each business or structure. It'll be up to you to measure them. But of course, if there's a franchise, you're going to pay startup fees and a portion of your gross income towards franchises. You might have a monthly fee to go with. Not that in independent brokerages you won't have fees. You might not, or you might have. That I don't know where you guys are going to go. But you are the one that needs to weigh which one is best for you. Independent or franchise company. Okay. Some brokerages specialize in either being commercial or being residential. We cover that. Even within commercial, some offices specialize in rentals only, office rentals, exchanges, business brokerage, and so on. Some are more towards buyers, some are more towards sellers. If you see right now, for instance, Purple Bricks, which just went out of business or is going out of business. If you see Redfin, if you see Open Door, which is from Zillow, that's the real estate company from Zillow right now. They're really focusing on sellers and saying, hey, list with us for only 1% or 2% or whatever it is, right? So these agencies are more focused on sellers because buyers anybody can get right now. That's the type of market we're in. If you can get listings, guys, right now, if you can become the pro at getting listings, if that's your focus and you're good at it, you will survive in this business without a doubt, because that's what we need right now. Sellers, listings, right? Buyers, I have like probably 30 or 40 buyers lined up right now to buy a house. Just get me a listing. So the point is, you can even choose, you can even define to a T, or like I'm only dealing with sellers or dealing with buyers. A friend of mine, which now is with working with us, a few years ago when I met him, he was doing just rentals. That was his focus. He didn't care about sales. Rentals in Newark for him was a $12,000 to $13,000 a month business, and he was okay with that. He was very comfortable with that. Huh? He decided to move to a different type of business. So he started doing because there was a need when the market crashed. There was a need for what he was doing, so he decided to go there. But what I'm saying is he was focused only on rentals. Between application fees and the high turnover, right? Because in Newark, I don't know if you guys know Newark or not, but in Newark, you put an apartment for rent. Heck, you put a room for rent right now. And there's like 100 people calling you because of that one bedroom for a family of 5, right? That's how crazy the business is right now. So if you're doing rentals, it's the same thing as sales, right? If you get a rental right now, you're very successful. Where? In Union? Oh yeah. Andrea, how much is getting a listing from MLS? What do you mean? What do you mean getting a listing from the MLS? For us as agents, we see it. We are members of the MLS. So I pay, like, for instance, GS. I pay right now. It just went up. It's like $80 every 6 months for you to have access. It's like a membership, right? If you want to put a listing on the MLS, depending on the MLS, it could be $25. It could be $50 to put a listing, to advertise the listing. But the people bringing buyers don't pay for that. Okay. All right, next we have, you guys should already know what this is, NAR. It's National Association of Realtors, right? Not every salesperson is a realtor. Okay? Because just like I talked about MLS membership, there's a NAR membership. Okay? So if you want to be called a realtor, you have to be part of the National Association of Realtors, like a union, like a gym membership. That's what I call it. And you have some benefits that come with it. So only oh yeah. So only members of the organization may use the term to refer to themselves. You can never call yourselves a realtor if you are not part of the National Association of Realtors. You cannot even advertise that you are a realtor if you're not part of it. Okay? Again, some things I'm going a little faster because we're going to cover more in detail in a different chapter. Huh? No. He's paying 300. Oh, the 300. I don't even know yet what that is. He was going to explain it to me. Sorry. But yeah, $300 a month. I don't even know what it is for. So unless you can explain to me what it is that he's paying, and he said he was going to tell me, but unless you can break it down, I don't see value in $300 a month for somebody just starting. No, that doesn't make sense to me at all. Unless you got the money set aside and you know, hey, for the next 1 year or 2 years, this is what I'm doing, right? So here's my investment every month. Yep. All right. And that is key, guys. When you go interview brokers, one of the things to ask is, what are the fees and what's the support system that I'm going to have? Like, what can you expect from that agency? Right? I know. It's great. All right. The broker salesperson relationship. So this comes with what we're talking about right now. You already know that only a broker with an active broker's license can hire and employ a licensed salesperson. What I want to mention is this. When you see the words broker by itself, what are we talking about? When you see broker by itself, not hyphenated or anything like that, what are we talking about? We're talking about the broker of record. Nope. It's not hyphenated. If it said broker dash salesperson, right? Then it's somebody that works under the broker of record. Okay, I want you to read this again. Only a broker of record, with an active broker's license can hire and employ a licensed salesperson. Okay? So anybody that has their dash salesperson or just salesperson, whatever, or even a referral license, they're under the broker of record. Who is the broker of record? This is the person that's responsible for the whole agency. Okay, for the whole brokerage. Broker of record. This is key. You got to remember this one, okay? And the broker of record is the one that's authorized to represent clients directly in brokering real estate. A sales agent, on the other hand, is only authorized to represent the broker and carry out such duties as the broker may legitimately delegate. In other words, as you guys know by now, a salesperson does not represent the client directly. Okay? Well, we do the paperwork, we do everything. We do everything. But we're acting on behalf of. Just like you are independent, so it's a little different. I'm going to talk about that later. But it's just like when you work for somebody else. You have a boss. You cannot say, no, it's my way or the highway, right? I have to follow the guidelines that are set by my employer, right? In this case, it's the same thing. The broker of record is your sponsor. So think about Nike or Adidas or whatever sponsoring you, right? And you're saying, no, I want to wear Reebok. You can't. Exactly. So the agent must act entirely on the broker's behalf. So if you're sponsored by Remax, Remax is your flag, and everything you do is Remax. If you're hired by Century 21, Century 21 is your flag, and everything you do is on behalf of Century 21. If you're hired by Weichert, and so on, and so on, and so on. You got it? So everything you do is on behalf of them. What you cannot do, salesperson may not bind the client to any contract. Why? Because a contract is between the broker and the client, not salesperson. Salesperson may not receive compensation directly from the client. Why? Because the deal is between the broker and the client. So all compensation must go through the broker. Okay? And you cannot accept a listing or deposit that it's not in the name of the broker. And this question, I can guarantee you, will be on the state exam or your money back. Guaranteed or your money back. If there is a bonus to be paid out, can you accept it as a salesperson? The answer is no. You cannot accept it as a salesperson. All payments, and this could be one of the answers, all payments must go through the broker. So yes, you can accept as long as the broker is paid. Okay, remember, you cannot accept any monies directly from the transaction. You can only accept monies given to you by your broker. Okay? Any questions here before I move forward? We're good so far, right? Now, salesperson employment status. This is very, very important for you guys to understand, which I've been talking about it, being independent or being an employee. This differentiates you for tax purposes. Okay? Differentiates you for tax purposes. Because if you are an employee, right, we're going to start with that one. If you are an employee of the broker, then the broker must withhold tax. The broker must provide certain benefits, right? And the broker can enforce office policies, including hours, meeting attendance, telephone coverage, and a bunch of other stuff. But guys, most salespeople, 99.999% of salespeople, are independent contractors. Okay? This is called a 1099 employee versus a W-2 employee. As a 1099 employee, you are hired by the broker to perform a service. What is that service? To represent them. Okay? So the only thing that the broker can require is performance results. That's it. Can I require quotas? Like, hey, you got to sell 3 houses a year. I can if I want to, because you were hired in a salesperson capacity, right? I can. But can I tell you, hey, you got to be here 9 to 5, otherwise you're fired? No, you're independent. Guys, if you work, you work. If you don't work, you don't work. That's totally up to you, right? If you don't work, guess what? You don't get paid. That's it. Here, it's different. As an employee, if you work, you get paid. If you don't work, you might still get paid. That's the advantage. You want to know the biggest difference between them? W-2, yeah. You want to know the biggest difference between these two? Is that in this one, employee, there's a ceiling. You know what a ceiling is? It's a limit of how high you can go. That's the difference. As a W-2, I pay you enough for you not to quit. And I know you're working enough not to get fired. Plain and simple. Are there exceptions? Is there going to be one person that works better than everybody else and giving everything for the company? Sure. For the majority of people, they work enough not to get fired because they only get paid enough not to quit. As an independent contractor, there's no limit. You can make way more money than I do. As an independent contractor, I could be your broker and you make more money than I do. In fact, in every transaction, you make more money than I do. Because I make 30, you make 70. Or I make 20 and you make 80. Or I make 10 and you make 90. Right? So you can make way more money than I do. You understand my point? But it all depends on how much you work. I cannot demand that you're here. You can demand it from yourself. So I cannot prescribe or force meeting attendance or office hours. Totally up to you. Jose, I like that. Yeah. But then again, you are responsible for your own income and Social Security taxes. And you are responsible for your own health insurance and pension plans. Right? So there's always drawbacks to everything. Philip, so working for a Remax, for example, are you a W-2 worker or independent? Most salespeople are independent contractors. Most salespeople are independent contractors. So you're a 1099. Nobody can ask or demand anything of you except office standards. Like, hey, this is our policy. This is the way we do things. Right? This is our checklist. You have to have all this in order to get paid. So if you don't have these documents, you don't get paid. That's it. It's up to the agent if he wants to show up for trainings. It's up to the agent if they want to stay in the agency. It's up to the agency if they want to take the phones, handle the phones. It's up to the agent if they want to go door knocking. If they want to do cold calling. If they want to like go dance at weddings to try to get leads. It's up to you. As long as you're not doing anything illegal, it's up to you. You guys understand? So there's a big risk when it comes to being a 1099. Because if you don't work, you don't get paid. Right? That's it. You are constantly on vacation if you want. That's the advantage of being... Look, I'll put it this way. I've had several ups and downs working for myself, but I've been happily unemployed for the past 16 years. Past 16 years, happily unemployed. Okay? Meaning I don't work for anybody else. I work for myself. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I've made a lot of money. I've lost some money. I've made some money and lost a lot of money. And that's the ups and downs. But I can blame me versus anybody else.
It's in your hands.
Simple. It's in my hands. Okay? What? Liberty tax? Dressed like the statue? Sure, there you go. So what's an example of a W-2 worker? Any employee. Any employee, Philip. If you worked for a corporate office, you worked for Coca-Cola, and you're at a desk and they pay you $10 an hour, you're an employee. Independent is you show up whenever you show up. Imagine you're gonna do construction work for me. Can I dictate the hours that you're gonna do? No, you do the construction work on the house. You're independent. If it's a construction company and I hire you as an employee, I expect you from 9 to 5. I'm talking about in real estate. A W-2 worker could be an assistant, secretary. That's what I told you. Most salespeople are independent. They're 1099s. But there are some people that are not meant for this business at all. But they're great on the phones. So because they're licensed, they could be what's called ISAs, inbound sales agents, right? So they can receive calls and over the phone handle most of the things needed. So somebody out there is bringing the leads and they're handling the back end of it. And they split commissions. Could be. So that depends on the broker. All right. Lila says, I'm going to try to be like you. I don't know if you want that. I'm a workaholic, so I don't know if you want that. Just until when? No problem. No problem. Rob, can you please not yell at me? This right here, sorry guys. I know you guys cannot see it, but he has here in big letters. He just wrote, "Who decides commission? 50-50. That's big bold letters. All right, so you guys can not see it, but at home you can. So who decides the commission? It's between you and your broker. Now, I'll give you an example. We have our standards. We have two different plans at the agency. We have the independent plan and we have the team plan. Are we budging on those numbers? Most likely not. But can you choose to be in one or be in the other? Absolutely. Can you try to negotiate the commission? Absolutely. But these are our standards. And every agency is that way. They have their standard rates and what they expect to pay you or what you can expect from them. Okay? But you decide. If you want to work at 50-50, I'll hire you right now. At 50-50, come. No fees whatsoever. 50-50? Rob? And believe it or not, there are companies out there still paying 50-50. It's ridiculous. Huh? Depends on your experience. Lila says, I know I don't want to work for someone else. There you go. You might not have to. All right, so real estate assistant or personal assistant. These are people that, again, I'm going a little fast on some things because when we get to the state portion is more specific. But a real estate assistant could be somebody that handles the phone, somebody that handles paperwork, somebody that does some tasks for you. Okay, but they cannot do anything that requires a license. That means they cannot talk to customers directly or talk about anything related to the transaction. Okay, so assistants can help you with organizing you. With phones, like I said, they can go to the house and put the signs. They can pick up keys, deliver documents, stuff like that. But they cannot negotiate anything for you. Okay? Some agencies are doing that, and that's highly illegal. Mm-hmm. That's it. Compensation, since you guys were asking, next page. Agent compensation. According to Rob, from now on, 50-50. That's it. But no fees. No fees whatsoever. I'll even buy your marketing stuff. I'll give you some signs, some business cards. It's always worth it. It's always more money than what you have. It's always more money than what you have. All right. So an agent employee of a broker may receive wages, salary, additional commissions, expense reimbursements, and benefit plans. Okay? An independent contractor's compensation is normally a combination of commissions and free office support. Oh yeah, I'll throw in that, okay, Rob? 50-50 and free office support. Now,
I'll support you.
Right? That's it. You'll never fall on this floor. There'll be somebody to support you. Commission splits. An agent earns a commission from procuring listings and for procuring buyers or tenants whenever a transaction results. And in the jargon of brokerage, there are two sides of a commission. There's the listing side and there's the selling side. Listing side, I already explained to you. If you're the listing agent, you represent the seller. The selling side, if you're the agent, you represent the buyer. You accomplish the sale. The reason why we talk about sides is because for me to quantify your transactions or your potential income at the end of the year, I have to go by an average of sides, because in one transaction, you could represent both sides and get full commission, right? So the only way I can make commission make sense when we do our presentation, for instance, is look, the average commission out there is 2.5%. Let's talk about an average sales price of $300,000 just to get an idea, right? And if you're on a 70-30 split, this is what you can expect if you do 10 sides. Look, 10 sides. If in one of the transactions you represent both of them, that's 4 sides right there. that make sense? So dual agent. And then I'll give you your projected income based on sides. Do you represent the listing, the selling, or both? All right. The commission schedule is a comprehensive summary of commission splits under various circumstances. Listing and sell side, salesperson's level of sales performance. Sometimes you go up the ladder just by having more sales. So a lot of agencies have a step up where you start, let's say, we'll go with Rob's example, with the 50-50 to start. You're just in the beginning, no experience, right? And then after your second deal or third deal, they bring you up to 60-40. Or after another two deals, 70-30. Some companies, they reset by January. So they'll bring you all the way up to 100%, right? And then January, oh, you're back at 60-40, or you're back at 70-30, whatever it might be, right? So it's based on the broker's level of expense reimbursement to the agent, particular policies and organization of the agency, or prevailing commission splits in the market. On average, Rob, so I can make you feel better, the prevailing commission split, the average, is 70-30. Most agencies pay 70% to the field and keep 30%. There are some agencies that pay better, but then they charge you fees. Some agencies pay worse and then don't charge you fees. You have to decide, you have to balance out and see what's best for you. Not me. Okay? And some agencies charge you for a training program. And then here you go. You're paying like, depending on the agency, anywhere from $80 a month to $1,000 a month, depending on how fast you want to take this, right? Like I was telling Andrea, it depends on how much money you have aside and how serious you are about the business. If you're really serious about this and you go into Keller Williams and they say, hey, listen, we have our mentorship program, it's $1,000 a month. And I'm just giving an example. Mentorship program, and it's $1,000 a month. But in the next 6 months, this is where you should be. And in about a year, this is where you should be. If numbers make sense, go for it. If you got the money set aside. Does that make sense? But if you don't, do you think that's a good option for you? Maybe not. Maybe look for another agency that charges less for training or charges nothing for training.
You charge for training?
I can't talk about our agency like that. No. Jose A., what is the higher commission the broker can charge or pay a salesperson? The highest that they can pay is 100%. Some agencies right now are paying 100% because what they want. All right, I'll tell you the trick about 100%. You want to know the trick about 100%? They charge you monthly fees. And because roughly 70% of the agents don't do anything with their license, they are collecting $100 a month as an example, right? $100 a month for those 70 agents, while 30 agents are actually doing something. Okay? Nothing wrong with that, because a business is a business. Nothing wrong with that. It just sucks for you that you did not take the action to make money. But there's always that's what I'm trying to keep on bringing. There has to be a balance between things. What works for you? Yeah. Some agencies don't care. They just look at the number. I'll put it like this. There's recruiting agencies, and that's what they are, where you pay monthly fee and regardless of what you do. There's recruiting agencies, and then there's actual sales agencies. Recruiting agencies, they're just looking for a number of agents and that pay the fee. That's the bottom line. All right? If you do work, great. If you don't do work, hey, whatever. You're paying $100. It's not worth it for a beginner. It depends, Jose. It depends. It depends what comes with it. So I cannot vouch for other agencies. I do not know what they're offering to you, right? So there might be some stuff that go with it, with $100 or with $120 or whatever it is they're charging. But you need to know that. Like Andrea M was telling me about $300 a month for this particular agency. Maybe they're putting marketing for you. I'm not sure. Like, you need to figure that out with the agency that you interview. What is included, what's not included in that money. All right, Philip. 100% of what though? The sales price, or like 100% of the side? So I told you there's two sides, and this is the example right here. Look. You asked, here's the answer. Let's say that the sales price is $500,000. That's a nice average right now, $500,000. If we split 50-50 with another brokerage, that means on the 6%, we keep 3% and we give out 3%, right? So the total commission was $30,000. Okay? So my agency gets $15,000, your agency gets $15,000, right? If you're like Rob, you're on the 50-50 split, you get $7,500, right? Sorry, Rob. $7,500. What do I get? $7,500. So, Philip, your split is based on how much you get. If you're representing one side, whatever that commission was, in this case $15,000, your split is based on that. If you represent both sides, so the 6%, then you'd get, in this case, you'd get $15,000 in this example here. Okay? And that's, see, the example right here. There's no cooperating brokers, so 15,000, 15,000. And so on. Good? All right, but that's not the numbers we want, right, Rob? Oh, you know what? Let me go back to that since you said that. Rob, that's not what you want, but 7,500 on one deal, and you spend roughly 10, maybe 15 hours at best. 7,500 is not bad. Why are you talking about taxes? He doesn't know. He just wants the 50-50. Come on. He's not even talking about the marketing expenses he had. His business cards, his MLS fees, right, which have to be there. So, listen, 7,500. That's it. Well, look, again, if you're doing one of these deals a month and that's your payout, one of these deals a month is not bad either, right? A lot of people don't make more than $30,000 a year, right? You make a couple of deals a month and you beat that in the first quarter, almost, right? I got the Honey app for discount coupons for marketing. There you go. Listen, that's what I do for my business cards and all that. Business cards, banners and all that. I'm always getting 10, 15, 20% discount on it. Absolutely. Everything. Okay. Call me Discount King. Always looking for it.
Got a few mouths.
I got 4 mouths to feed, so I better get the discounts. Yeah. I'm not even talking about my mouth or her mouth, like the kids only. Like I starve. All right. Jose says sales is not for lazy people. Well, all right. Jose, let me say something real quick. Go download this book whenever you have a chance. There's more books about this, but this book is going to be great. It's by John Warrillow, and it's called Built to Sell. It's a short read. It's very, very, very small. Built to Sell. Hold on a second. Built to Sell. It's about how to become lazy. Meaning, have the business run for yourself, by itself. And that is key. Having a business run by itself is key. Right? I'm just dumb because I love to be in the business. And it sucks when I cannot be here like yesterday. I get really upset when physically I cannot be here. I love working. But every business should be built to sell. Meaning created in a way that it runs itself. And if you were to sell it tomorrow, right, you could easily sell and profit. Right? But check that out. It's great. How to Be a Millionaire by so that's from the Keller Williams ones. Yeah, I have that too. It's easy. In this example, 70-30 split, the agent would only get 4,500. Possibly, I'm not doing the math. But if it's 15,000, 30%, 4,500. Yes. The agent, no. The 70-30 split, the broker gets the 4,500. 70-30 is 70 paid out to you. 30 stays with the broker. Okay. So the 7,500 that Rob was getting, that's why I told him I would hire him right away. Because if I get 7,500 as well and not to have to do anything, just tell him where to go and give him a couple of honey discounts. That's it. Told you, I'll buy the marketing for you. I'll pay for it. All right. Next. Fine, I'll give you 51.49.
No.
Operating real estate brokerage, you guys already know. I'm going to go real fast at this. You guys already know you need to obtain listings. You need to know how to market the listings. You need to know, very important, how to prepare for pre-closing activities. Built to Sell, Philip. Built to Sell by John Warrilow. Pre-closing activities, what does this mean? You need to help people understand step 1, put on the market. Step 2, offers will come through. Step 3, get the CO, and so on. You understand? So you need to know all the steps, including preparing them for how much money they need at closing. Right? When we get to the financial part of it, I'm going to show you that. Managing information. Having a policy manual or standard in the office. There are certain advertisement regulation things you can say, things you cannot say. And we're going to talk about antitrust laws or monopoly. You know the game. What is the monopoly game about? Controlling money. Right? Controlling property and making the money. That is a great game, but in real life, a business cannot create a monopoly. So we cannot try to block other people from the free market. That's what it is. So the antitrust laws is about blocking the people of free market and controlling everything. Okay? The reason why Microsoft a few years ago got sued, right? Well, a couple times got sued. Because Microsoft, if they wanted, until a few years ago, if they wanted, they could just turn off Windows and the whole world would stop. They controlled everything. Well, I think it was like 80 or something, 80 or 82% of the world used Windows-based systems. So imagine 80% of the world and Bill Gates just says, no more Microsoft. Turn it off. Imagine? Right. So nowadays it's a little different because Apple, so the iOS system gained a lot more popularity. So now there's more users of that. Linux, Ubuntu, and a few others, Android systems took off, right? But yeah.
Microsoft won't even threat anymore. Not even think about it.
Yeah, it got so bad he just quit. Yeah, Bill Gates just stepped down for another reason. But anyway, all right, guys, new or experienced. You must get certain skills at each step of the process in obtaining a listing. What is the first skill? Prospecting. Who can tell me what this is? Prospecting. What is prospecting? Nope. Prospecting in the business. Always do something. Don't just stand there. That works. Door knocking, cold calling, marketing. Philip, getting able, willing, and ready customers. Absolutely. So don't just stand there. Do something. Prospect on purpose. I love the way you said it. Prospect on purpose. Everywhere you go, right? Talk about Um, what you do? Sorry, I just remembered the Snoop Dogg song. Anyway, um, so everywhere you go, prospect, talk about it, right? Don't be salesy because people will not talk to you at the next function. Okay, don't be salesy. Lila, strike a pose. Mm-hmm. 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 That's it. Well, I'm glad you said that. So, what Kati was saying is like where I'm at, the business that I'm at. If my boss doesn't tell me stuff, right, and if I don't go and try to ask for it or learn it or whatever, then I'm stuck, right? In this business, it's the same thing. If you're gonna blame your broker, or if you're gonna blame your team leader, or if you're gonna blame your coworker because of things that you're not doing, right? You're not gonna get, huh? I was just talking about that to somebody yesterday. Blame yourself first for the actions that you're taking or not taking. At the end of the day, it's nobody's fault but yours. Whatever's happening in your life, like I was telling that, like I've been through divorces, I've been through losing jobs and businesses and whatever, right? Losing money. At the end of the day, it's easy for me to blame. Oh, my partner did this, my wife did that. It was them. But at the end of the day, I took part of it. I took part of it. It's never the other party. It's two people. I allowed it. So, guys, you need to hold yourselves accountable. If you don't do prospecting, if you don't do prospecting, you will drown in this business. Prospecting is key. That's where everything starts. Prospecting is key. Andrea M, yes, Rob's commission, that's because he voiced it out. 50-50, that's it. I don't have to pay 1 cent more. It's done, set in stone. Philip, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Great book, great lessons. Read it, listen to it. I have it always on Audible on my phone, ready to go. When I need some inspiration, go back to the basics. That's it. So prospecting. Once you learn how to prospect, once you knock on the door and say, hey, would you like to sell? What do you do next? Pricing. You need to learn how to price, how to give a value. So Eric, what is the value of your house? Is it you the one supposed to tell me? Or am I the one supposed to tell you? Right? I'm the professional here. The professional. Right? So I'm the one that has to tell you, forget Zillow, forget Trulia, forget all those online companies. I'm here. Right? I'm the one that's here. You understand that? I am here. And that brings the listing presentation. So not only do you have to figure out the value of things, okay? Not only do you have to figure out the value of things, you need to learn how to present things. Because anybody can give a value, right? But I'm not talking about the value of the house. I'm talking about the value of a service. Anybody can give value of a service. But if I don't explain what we're going to do together, I told you guys that it's a partnership with the seller, right? If I don't explain what we're going to do together, why would they choose you versus the next person, right? And that's when we get to negotiate the agreement and come up with a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. Heck, the 50% we talked about earlier. Exactly. Okay. Now, under pricing, real quick, we have a chapter 16, chapter 4 appraisals. That's all I'm going to mention here. The appraisal chapter 16. Okay? Chapter 16. Chapter 16. We're going to talk about appraisals, how to price a property. Okay? Chapter 16. And you would think, oh, comparables. Yes, depending on the type of property. Okay? All right. It's the final. Yeah. That's why I was saying. All right. The next part. I told you that we are going to get a listing presentation, right? Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We're going to list your property. What's the next step? Marketing. Right? Can I market without your help? No. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I need your help every step of the way. I know you hired me to do things for you, but I need your help every step of the way. I need to know what you allow me to say or not to say, where you allow me to advertise or not advertise, and I also need to know your availability when I show your property. If I need to prepare an open house to show your property, are you okay with that? If you have tenants, are your tenants going to open the door on the days that I need? Should I put a lockbox or do I have to call you every time? So this all goes into the marketing plan, right? So we need to figure out what are we going to do, because once I do, I'm going to start selling the property, right? I'm going to start selling it. Once I start selling, I'm going to get offers. Are you ready for this? Is this going to be a 2-week plan? Is this going to be a 6-month plan? Or is this going to be a 10-year, like Philip was saying, depending on how much time they have, plan, right? We need to know that stuff. Because if you need to sell tomorrow, I'm going to focus my efforts on your property. But if you need to sell over the next couple of months, I'm going to do a couple different things to maximize the return. Because if I try to sell tomorrow, there's going to be probably a discount, right? It's going to be less, right? So these are things that come with the marketing plan, okay? So when we sell the prospect, agent must now do what? Qualify the prospect's plans, preferences, financial capabilities. I was just talking about that. Show properties that meet the customer's needs. Elicit the buyer's reactions to properties and report material results to the seller or the listing agent. At the earliest appropriate time, the agent must make certain disclosures to a prospective customer. Depending on state laws, an agent may have to disclose the relevant agency relationship, the property's physical condition, and the possible presence of hazardous materials. Guys, at this point, from chapter 11, you know all this, right? Seller's agent, buyer's agent, disclosal agent, or transaction broker. You have to disclose agency relationship. Property's physical condition, it's falling apart, let me know, right? Hazardous materials, asbestos, mold, right? Lead-based paint, all that stuff. Okay? Page 182. Just highlight. I already explained all that stuff. Just highlight those two paragraphs. I already explained all that stuff about being careful what the thing. This was right at the beginning. Remember, being careful with the things you say or not say when it comes to disclosure, right? So you have to be loyal, but you also have to abide by fiduciary obligations, okay? Or disclosure obligations. Pre-closing activities. What are your responsibilities? Assisting the buyer in obtaining financing. Hey, Mr. Buyer, are you qualified to buy? Do you have the money to buy? Let's find out somebody that can help you buy, right? Let's go to the bank. Let's go to this loan officer. Let's talk to them. Assisting the seller in clearing title. Seller, we need to call the bank and request a payoff statement because you need to pay off the current loan, or we need to call the city for the water bill, for the tax bill, the final payoffs, clearing title. You need to babysit your client, absolutely. Assist the seller in completing property repairs. On this one, not my monkey. Finding appropriate help. Help. Okay? So general contractors and so on. Recommending inspectors, appraisers, attorneys, title companies. Assisting communications between the principals and assisting the exchange of transaction documents. Broker's responsibility. The listing broker has the primary responsibility for handling deposit monies and for overseeing the agent's pre-closing activities. So if they give you money, what must you do? Set it aside, because it's not your money. Okay? In fact, you must be very careful, and we'll talk about this better in a different chapter, very careful to avoid commingling and conversion. Commingling and conversion. These are key, yes. These are key. Guaranteed to be in the state exam or your money back. Commingling, mixing funds. Mixing funds. Conversion, using the funds. Okay, so commingling, guys, is when I give you money as a deposit towards the purchase of a house, and you run off with the money, put it in your bank account, your personal bank account, and then the next day you're using that money in Jose just wrote, okay, thanks. Sorry, I'm lost on that one. What was the okay, thanks? So conversion is I put the money in my bank account, and now I'm using your money for my business or personal use. Commingling is mixing funds of other people with ours. Conversion is now using the same funds. Conversion is using the money. Jose A, that was not the state test, right? No, so don't worry about that. That question is not there. All of these can give you cancer regardless. But don't worry about that. Lila, my client gave me a gift because it was my birthday. I put it in the escrow account. What kind of... Oh, okay. That was a question I was about to say. What kind of business are you in? You just passed the state. That was a question in the state exam. If they gave you a gift because it was your birthday, you put it in the escrow account? Depends. Yeah. Jose says, I usually read Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is also very good. Monif, it's 9:31. When are we finished? Oh, midnight. We should be done. Look, it's just a few things. We already covered most of this. What I'll do tomorrow is I'll go over advertising regulations. So we'll pick it up tomorrow. All right, we'll finish right now. We had a lot of good questions today, actually. So we'll stop right now, and then tomorrow we'll be on page 184, advertising regulations. Okay? Yes? Great. What I recommend, especially the 50-50 question was the best one. What I recommend, guys, before you hang up, please review everything. From chapter 11, if you have not reviewed anything else before, at least chapter 11, 12, and 13, go through it over and over and over and over and over again as much as you can. Okay? There's a few chapters I'm going to point out that are extremely, extremely important. All right? Guys, I bid you a good night. I will see you tomorrow at 5:30. Okay? Thank you.